Hey guys, how's it going?
Hi everyone, is everything okay with you?
We're here smiling, but the topic is serious. There's no point in crying, right? It won't solve anything. To tell you a story about how someone tried to scam us here in Portugal, the fake rental scam.
We told you that we would share, right, all our difficulties and the things that made it easier in this immigration process here in Portugal. Yeah, we've always mentioned to you that I have Italian citizenship, yeah, but even so, we also have the process of regularizing the EU's residency here in Portugal and consequently so we can stay legally here in Europe.
So, it's important for you to understand, guys, our son is not going to be born here inside this motorhome, nor inside any other motorhome. Because we need to rent a property to establish our residency, because we need to have a residence here in Europe.
Yes,
In this case, in Portugal.
exactly.
We could get residency in any country of the European Union, let that be very clear.
We chose Portugal because of how easy the language is now that we have to deal with these health issues. The PB4, which is a health document that we've already registered for back in Brazil. So there are some conveniences that made us choose Portugal. Of course, we're doing the whole migration process with legal assistance.
Everything is being done legally.
Yeah, but we really will share the step by step, the process, who we did it with, how we did it once everything works out.
We have to get to that part.
Yeah, so we're going step by step so we can bring this information to you because even with citizenship, we still have some bureaucracy to deal with that we need to resolve. And we're not here to sell you on the idea that immigration is the easiest thing in the world to do, because there's a lot of work behind it and we really do need to be supported by good professionals.
So the first step in this whole process is for us to get a place to live. Not just for the paperwork, but also for our lives, for the arrival of our child. And here we are, recording, traveling in a motorhome, exploring, having fun, enjoying ourselves. But at the same time, behind the scenes, we're already looking for a place to live, talking to some acquaintances, and always searching and so on. We have to be alert so that when an opportunity comes up, we're already ready to go there and grab that opportunity. And that's what happened. An interesting opportunity came up, right? A nice apartment in the city of Porto. Right now we haven't decided where we want to live. So we're going to rent wherever a good opportunity comes up if it's a good rental, a city that has good infrastructure, a nice area, and a structure for our son's arrival and for us to handle our paperwork. And this apartment in Porto came up. So Franz will tell you how he handled the negotiation. It's even easier for Franz to explain it himself. Because it's quite surprising.
Like you said, we're not choosing a city to stay in, but we definitely don't want to stay in villages. Exactly, villages are what they call vilas here, or small towns like in Brazil, mainly because of the medical infrastructure, right? So we want to stay in bigger cities with a bit more infrastructure, not specifically Porto, but it could be other cities with 80,000 to 100,000 inhabitants as long as they have good medical infrastructure, which is what really matters to us. Anyway, but this opportunity came up. We've been looking a lot on Marketplace.
Which is from Facebook.
It works, okay, guys?
We've already used it. It's safe. We've already done business there. We've bought and sold. We bought the Bronco.
In fact,
The Bronco was bought through the marketplace. It's safe because there's a person there, advertising.
So we're using the marketplace, and we're also using a platform called Idealista, which is ideal for buying and selling real estate.
And renting.
Renting as well here in Portugal. And among these offers, an apartment that seemed too good to pass up showed up in Porto. It was a T2, as they call it here, which is a 2-bedroom apartment with a bathroom, very well located, with restoration, as they call it, which actually had just been renovated. All the furniture was beautiful.
Anyway, the apartment was completely renovated with 2 bedrooms, fully furnished, and at an interesting price. Yeah. A dream. Yeah, a dream.
The rent prices here in Portugal really aren't cheap. We already knew that.
Right? We already knew it was going to be difficult.
That's right.
But we didn't know it was going to be that we were also going to have this kind of difficulty. It's a good apartment and at a fair price, which is what we would like to pay.
Yeah, and then I reached out to her because the apartment was actually so beautiful, right? That I sent her a message asking if that was the monthly price and if it was really the model apartment or if it was that actual apartment. Because sometimes it happens that some companies, for example, have several apartments and have a model apartment. At least that was very common in other places where we had already rented. But she said that this apartment was hers, that she had renovated it, and then she moved to Madeira Island to start a new business there. The story is that she put the apartment up for rent because of that. I even thought it was strange for someone to share all these details right away.
I often discuss my personal life and bring things to a personal level.
Then she said that the move-in is immediate, that it was already decided, that the conditions for renting were an income, in other words,
Rent?
1 month's rent up front plus another as a security deposit. So far, so good.
Okay, that's normal, standard procedure.
Yeah, contract registered with the tax office, which is what we need to be able to register the residence. And also with the invoices and receipts and all the payments. She said she'd only need the NEF Portugal's equivalent of the CPF.
Which we already have.
And also an identity document, which in my case would be the Italian passport that I could use as an identity document here. And okay, everything's fine, right? Everything meets the requirements.
Everything was normal up to that point.
Yeah, because many times they even lose their work card, their work registration here. Anyway, they're a guarantor, but here everything was fine. Then she said that since she's living on Madeira Island...
She ended up... If you hear any noise, it's Layla snoring, okay? Yeah.
Since she moved to Madeira Island, she ended up putting the apartment up for rent at Remax.
That's the story.
Remax is a network, a franchise of several real estate agencies that exists here in Portugal. It's already well known, and I think it exists in other countries too. And it's a company that has a lot of credibility because since there are several of them, right, it ends up being a very well-known company. And then she gave me the contact so I could talk directly to the people at Remax.
Then she sent the number to França to get in touch, as if this number was from the staff.
Basically, I summarized everything she sent me here.
That's it, okay?
A story, a good conversation.
It flowed well.
Then she gave me her name. I checked her Facebook, saw that she's had the account since 2009. Lots of travel photos, places, a normal profile, you know? Because usually a scam profile is a very recent profile.
Recent?
Like that, right? From 2023, 2024 with just a few photos because people take pictures from the internet and create fake profiles to scam others. But hers isn't like that. It's pretty well put together. Well,
the account is very convincing.
I even suspect that the scammers ended up hacking
her Facebook account. Maybe she doesn't know, which is why we're not naming her.
Then I replied,
but we've already reported it there on the marketplace.
And also at Remax. But then I replied to her and all that, and I called the people from Remax. Then I talked to them.
Now here's the kicker.
Good morning, how are you? I'm Francielle. I spoke with Mrs. So-and-so about the apartment. I sent the message, right? The one she sent me, everything's all set. And I'd like to schedule a time to see this apartment. I asked if it could be tomorrow. Was that on Wednesday? So I asked if it could be on Thursday or Friday for her to see the apartment. And then they sent me the terms. with the official letter here from Remax.
Wait, look at this. Everything is on the company's letterhead, with a digital signature. It even has a digital signature and everything.
And then the terms and conditions were as follows. To schedule the visit to rent the apartment, we had to pay the first rent, the amount of the first rent, 750 euros we had to go there and pay.
I don't know if you guys understood. To visit...
It's not in a rental yet.
You don't know if you're going to stay, if you're going to like it, or if you won't. You would have to go there and pay the first month's rent, just to visit, to see the apartment.
Yeah, as soon as the payment department confirms your payment. That sounded a bit redundant, right? That's actually strange. We will forward the information to the nearest Remax consultant to schedule the visit. When you go to visit the property, we will hand over the contract and the keys. No need for any more money. How nice of them, right? If you decide not to rent it for any reason, you can cancel the rental process and the amount will be fully refunded on the same day. That amount we paid just to go there and visit. The payment will not obligate the client to rent the apartment. The payment must be made only by bank transfer to Remax's account, because we don't work with cash. Then they ask for my information, right? Address, NIF, full name. So they can send the invoice so they can bill me. That was when I got suspicious, of course, right? Because we've never seen this procedure anywhere. It's uncommon in Brazil and in other places we've rented.
We've never seen anything like it.
So we started to ask around, talking to people we know here in Portugal and also to our lawyer just to make sure what it was, right? And here I probably should have asked for the details to see whose name it would actually be under, but I ended up not doing that. So then I sent it to our friend, to Mauro. Actually, he's a follower of our channel and he has a friend who worked at Remax. He took a little while to respond, but then he told us that this didn't exist.
He checked with his friend, right? Asked, hey, is there any similar process like this?
We thought that it could be, right?
We even thought that maybe it could be normal, but it's like it's too much. I don't know, we have to trust them a lot, and they don't trust us at all. They don't even want to show the apartment before we make the deposit. But anyway, But yeah.
Sometimes it's just a procedure to filter out who is really interested or who's just going there so they don't have to show it all the time. It also saves the realtor's time, right? So there's all of that too. And then we also talked to our lawyer, and right away when we sent it to her, she already said it was a scam, that this situation isn't real. You know, Remax asking for this deposit just to go see the apartment. And actually here it's not Remax, it's a scammer using Remax's name.
That's really important for us to mention.
And Facebook. Probably hacked. I also believe it's not the person maybe who's doing this kind of thing anyway.
We reported it, right? So if she doesn't know they're doing this in her name, she'll find out now.
That's right. And we also sent this document to Remax, letting them know what happened, but they still haven't responded to us. But what we could do in terms of communication, let's say, we've already done.
In short, guys, they tried to scam us, the fake rental scam, but thank God we have friends, we're well advised, and we managed to turn this around. It wasn't a rental, it wasn't free, it wasn't like that. For there to be a smart one, there has to be an opportunist. It wasn't about opportunism, nothing like that.
Actually, everyone, after they sent this document, and even before we got the lawyer's response, and from Mauro's friend, who's our follower, and everything else, I asked them what their address was, their physical location, their office, which Remax always has. They're not a digital company. They have some fixed offices here in the city, so I could go there and talk to them and understand this methodology better, right? Because I really had never seen it before. And from the moment I said that to them, they didn't answer me anymore.
Nothing. They didn't answer me anymore.
And there on Facebook itself, on Marketplace, I sent a message to her about the apartment saying, look, they sent me this document here and now they're not answering me anymore. She also disappeared. So we see that then we confirmed it. They themselves already realized that we weren't going to fall for the scam, and they just left us hanging.
Right, exactly. To fall for it, for the trickster to pull off the scam, there has to be someone naive in this case. And even though we're new here,
We came from Brazil.
it's us. We're like a scalded cat. We never usually pay anything in advance because you never know. It seems like when you pay in advance, it doesn't bring good luck, right?
Yeah, a deposit is one thing, right? If it were maybe a symbolic fee or something like that for it, yeah.
A smaller amount, it's not rent anymore, it's a lot of money, but even so.
You have to have a reference, right? So it would have to be confirmed that it's Remax's standard procedure, but it's not. So, and the scammers themselves are using the name of a company that has credibility here in Portugal.
This scam is well planned. It's well planned. Yeah.
Although, like, the writing, as I read it to you, is not the writing of a reputable company, you can tell, because there are a lot of redundant things, a lot of things written in a strange way. And then, of course, we still have the challenge of finding the place.
Yeah, guys, I wanted to bring this to you, interrupting the sequence of our videos.
Which is a big difficulty that we've already experienced. We didn't imagine we would go through this like in one of our first interactions, and it was already a scam attempt.
It's impressive. Actually, it's not just among the first, it's the very first.
We are.
It's incredible, you know, we expected to have trouble finding a place. We already knew it wouldn't be that simple. However, it never crossed our minds that there would be people trying to scam us.
Yeah, and it's also a warning, right, for anyone coming here to Portugal who's going through this process.
Not just here, right?
Looking for a place to live, right?
Everywhere, right?
Yeah, be really careful with who you're getting legal advice from. Be really careful. Because there are some relocation services, as they call them here, where the person arrives and already has an apartment rented here, especially when they bring their family. So yes, these services do exist. There are companies that provide them and are trustworthy, but be very careful with what you see on the internet because scams exist here too. Okay?
People don't always tell the truth, not just on the internet, but here too. Yeah, here is also the internet. People lie, they lie a lot, yeah, so always be careful.
We actually have a company ourselves. We've been in the market for 7 years, totally online. We don't have a physical office. And it's just that we're here showing our faces to you. We've been in the market for 7 years. You can check our CPF, our CNPJ. You'll see that our company is really trustworthy. So it's not to say that everything on the internet is bad, that everything on the internet is a scam.
I'm not putting it down,
There are excellent professionals who really only provide services, you know, work online, work this way. It's a market trend, but we have to stay alert.
Stay alert and always investigate beforehand.
And so even sharing just a little with you all, since we have so many followers here from Portugal, both Brazilians and Portuguese, and we were even surprised because we're meeting followers, right? Even at the supermarket.
We met a follower at the supermarket, it's true.
Here, an Uber driver.
Uber driver, we got into the Uber, he looked at us and said, "I know you."
He said, "You guys, I know that laugh."
He called me and Francie by our names and asked, "So, how's the baby?" It was pretty funny.
Yeah, so that really surprised us. We never imagined all this attention here in the country. It's been really positive for us. It's so nice to arrive somewhere and already feel so loved, you know, that's really cool.
And the Portuguese welcome has been just as great. It's been great everywhere we've been so far. We've been really well received.
Really cool, honestly. And well, so we wanted to share a little with you too that we're looking for properties, not just one property. So if you know of any, there's no requirement for a specific city, just that it has some structure. We started looking into the possibility of a winter rental, which usually goes until June 30th, which would be a really good period for me. Because we could rent now for the end of the pregnancy, the 8th and 9th month, and also until our baby is about 60 days old. Because he should be born around April. We don't have an exact date, you know exactly how this works, right? But the time frame is around April 20th, more or less. So it would give us time to get these documents in order for our baby to get a little bigger, better, and to decide if we'll need to rent the apartment for a longer period. Or if we'll suddenly have to buy a motorhome and really continue our trip, which is also our intention here in Europe.
Exactly, so that's why we also... That's also why a winter rental would be interesting for us, because then we get through that period and don't get tied up with long-term contracts.
Year long.
Right? And then you can make a decision, you can renew the contract, you can continue, or you can move on with your life.
Exactly. And we know that these temporary contracts are already a bit more difficult because not all of them are registered and we need that registration. Yes, so we can probably get about a 4-month rental now, and they won't rent it out after June 30th because then summer starts. And what they earn per month now is what they'll earn per week later.
Exactly. In summer, it's booming here in Portugal.
Mainly, we noticed that in the Algarve region, right, where there's a lot of rental availability for winter, but we don't know anyone over there, so that makes it a bit harder, right, for us to have confidence and be able to do any kind of negotiation online. We intend to go there, but we're still going to finish this trip we're doing here in the north first. We also noticed that there's this in Aveiro.
Aveiro?
We also noticed that this exists in Figueira da Foz.
Which is on the coast?
Right? Coastal areas, you know, and that would really be ideal for us right now.
Yeah.
So if you know of anything, have any contacts, or even have an apartment available that you'd like to rent to us anyway, we're looking for a place like that. If you can help us in any way, send us a message here. That would really be what we need. Exactly. We prefer a 2-bedroom, but a 1-bedroom is also very welcome. The 2-bedroom apartment would be so that Dudu's parents can come here.
That's right, so we can get support. Uh-huh.
But that's it, right, Du?
Yeah, Mom here is a first-timer. She needs help.
We already knew it was going to be, hard, right? Of course. But
yeah, everything's going to be all right.
Yeah, and we had to share this with you to open the eyes of those who are coming, and also so you know that not everything that happens here is perfect. We're always smiling, trying to do our best for you, but behind the scenes there are problems happening too.
That's it. But that wasn't the last one. Others will come. Yeah? But now this is one of the priorities to solve.
Yeah, and as soon as we get an apartment, we'll share the information here with you too.
We didn't fall for the scam?
That's already a victory, right? That's it, everyone. God bless you. In the next video, we'll return to our regular programming about our trips, our travels here in Portugal, and the cities we're visiting. Hugs. God bless you. See you in the next video.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.